This is going to be episode 134 or 5. It's the first time I've ever worn a white shirt.
See what happened?
I have, yeah. I have
I've
worn a black shirt every day of my life for the last 10 years.
I like you in white.
I'm so glad we're still rolling.
I like you in white. You look good.
I like your whites.
Yeah, I like you in white, man. It's a bright white shirt.
Thank you,
You
man.
look good.
I like that.
You should wear some, some brightens you up.
You know what? I think I was wearing black to represent what I was going through for a number of years, but I think I'm coming out of that.
You don't feel like you have a heaviness to you.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Truly.
Okay.
Truly, you don't. And I'm sure that you do, and I'm sure you carry your demons. We all do.
I get told that I look like I'm carrying the weight.
I don't feel it.
Okay.
You might look like shit, but you don't feel like it.
I do look like shit. This is crazy.
No.
And I smell like shit.
Oh, you don't? I didn't even know how old you were until you told me. I wouldn't have known. I knew you were a little older than me.
I thought you were older than me, to be honest with you. I thought you were like 48.
Santino did that the other day. I told him how old I was, and he was like, dude, you look terrible. And I go, you
look great in the film.
Thanks.
You're in great shape in the film.
I was.
Yeah. Tall as shit in the film too.
Well, that's what that's what Boots will do, and that's what stressing and waking up every day at 5 and being in the desert sun will do for a month. Mm-hmm. You just drop weight.
Oh yeah. Sweat it off.
I'm a good 30 pounds heavier than I was in that film.
I like how you said good 30 pounds. I'm the
30.
best 30.
The best 30. That's what I have to tell myself.
Yeah.
I'm
in the best shape I've been in 10 years, but I'm still fatter than I want to be.
Yeah.
So.
That's a funny thing too, is on all the scales, I'm obese, which really bothers me. Mm-hmm. I'm in great shape.
Yeah.
I'm in great shape.
Is it based on actual weight versus height?
Yeah, weight and height.
Probably got a density of muscle that most people don't have.
Yeah.
You're an athlete.
Yeah.
What did you play?
Dance.
What was your position? Dance?
Dance. Yeah.
I played dance.
No, second base and third base in pro ball.
You strike me as a catcher.
I tried to transition. The Reds. I almost signed with the Reds as a catcher. Yeah, that didn't happen.
Which I learned later on in life that's basically the captain of the team is kind of calling the plays.
Yeah, in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's everything I know about baseball.
Yeah, no, he directs a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it because of being on my knees. Right?
Yeah.
I don't have bad knees, but I don't have like squat for 4 hours knees.
Yeah.
And I think it's the only thing I could do though is catch a ball. I don't know if I'd be able to throw it in from the outfield or. What are we talking about?
I don't know.
My lack of athleticism.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Isaac Abrams Show, everybody. I am your host, Isaac Abrams. Today's very special guest, actor, writer, producer, executive producer, and stand-up comedian.
It's a lot of hyphens.
And former professional athlete, Don Dipetta.
You fuck? Are you serious?
Did I get it wrong?
Dipetta.
I got it wrong.
Yeah. Keep that in.
No.
No, just like that.
I will.
Just like that.
Can I tell you how many people's names I've fucked up?
I'm sure a lot.
At least this is episode 134.
Yeah.
75 probably.
75. Yeah. It's all right. It's because you're a white.
I don't identify as a white.
You don't?
I don't.
No.
Is my dyslexia kicking in? What did I?
Yeah. So you said something.
I said Padetta. I said Padetta.
I knew it was wrong. It was definitely wrong.
I don't know how
it was wrong.
I have to see it now. Fuck, dude.
Dipetta. Dipetta. But I actually like that intro. It was a really strong intro up until that point.
Yeah, I could do it.
So I
again.
think you should keep it.
Well, I don't know. I'm a pretty good actor, so I should be able to repeat that.
I don't know, dude. Because there was good timing on my end too, where I was like, "There's a lot of hyphens."
Hyphens.
Well, you said actor, writer, producer, executive producer.
Right.
And I said a lot of hyphens.
Do it in better order, though.
That's the craziness, man. I think
the lower thirds will be right. I'll spell it correctly when I.
Yeah. I think you should keep it.
I mean, I'm going to keep all this too.
Yeah. That is very indicative about where I am at in my career.
That people switch the P and the D in your name?
No, then you still fuck it up.
What's the worst that somebody's ever brought you up on stage to?
People blank on the last name all the time, so they just bring me up as Don, and I just
just
or
Don.
like the wrong first name and then totally blank on the last name. I don't know if you're a host, it's not hard. Write it down. It's okay to write it down and look, your hand or the paper to just intro the guy. It's okay. It's okay if you don't know it. It's okay.
The first person I ever had to bring up besides Drew, we were in Brea, and he was like, "It's this, 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 and this," and I was like, he goes, write it down. I don't care if you look at it. I go, thank you.
Yeah.
Because I would have totally blanked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gave you a lot. It's weird.
It was 4 credits, and they were all TV. And
that's a lot. You don't need all that. Because first of all, no one gives a fuck.
Right.
If they're not there to see you, like, you know.
No, he was the headliner.
Okay. Still. They know then.
Yeah.
You don't need all of it.
They're there for you.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I give people? Just don't. Yeah. Yeah. Just say my name. Bring me up. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Oh, I was going to slam the table.
I like that better.
Now I'm going to fuck it up again.
Dipetta.
Dipetta.
Yeah, there it is.
Dipetta.
Yeah.
Dipetta.
Nailed it.
Dipetta. What part of Sicily are you from?
My mother's side's Sicilian, and my father's side's from like Naples and Bari. So
Florida.
there's a lot of us down there. Yeah,
I could cut something out of that.
I think so.
Enjoy the episode, everybody. We talk about
I don't know what we talk about.
the new film
Yeah,
that's out.
Yeah.
We talk about your favorite meal of all time, which is great.
Sure,
Little
yeah.
nugget at the end.
Yeah.
We talk about serving in the military. And we have a good time.
which I didn't do.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Not everybody can do it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I got bad knees too, so I had knee surgery when I was like 22.
I thought you were going to say 4. So a place in the field, on the field.
I'm glad you did your homework.
I did. I bought it and watched it last night.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you investing the $6.
$9.99.
Oh, you bought. Oh, so you did buy it.
I was on iTunes.
Nice.
It's cheaper on Amazon.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you buying it. Lionsgate will be very happy with you.
Right.
I won't see $1 of it.
You'll get a check in the mail in 2 years for a couple of cents.
2.
Yeah. So you
Maybe.
wrote and starred in it.
Yeah, one of the writers on it.
Okay.
And starred in it. Yes.
Did you get the option? Did you want to direct it?
No.
You didn't even want to.
No. The director, Nicole Mejia, is, she's my partner for a number of years, and so she was at the American Film Institute at the time studying directing. So that was like, I'm going to wear enough hats if we go out and do this. So please direct this, and I'm glad she did. She did a great job.
Yeah. How long ago did you shoot it? That had to be right in the middle of the pandy, right?
Yeah, so 2020. Started shooting July 4th was actually our first shoot date.
Okay.
So we shot the last scene of the film first. So we were pretty locked into the end.
Right. The fireworks.
Yeah, the fireworks and all this stuff. Actual 4th of July celebration in Exeter, California. So drove up there 3 hours. Beautiful Central California, like one of the best fireworks displays, I think.
Yeah.
Happens in the States, in Central California.
$150,000 worth of production.
You're talking, they blew off a ton of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
So
and it's
smart.
a long fireworks, show.
Yeah.
So you get your money's worth, because it's free. Started shooting July 4th, then took a little break, and then mid-July to mid-August, myself and like 16 people, a lot of people at the American Film Institute studying at the time, and then just friends of ours, hopped in an RV and a bunch of cars, and we caravan to southern Santa Fe, New Mexico. We lived on a ranch, somebody's bed and breakfast that was closed because of the pandemic, so we had free reign of the bed and breakfast.
And that's where you shot
a lot of
the party.
Film.
Yeah.
A lot of the film, and then we would slingshot out, like to the White Sands, New Mexico, and then when we were finished shooting in New Mexico, we literally did the drive back and shot in the Grand Canyon, and then stayed in Central California, shot some more there, and got it done.
Yeah. There's a scene where you're sitting on a burned out VW bug.
Yep.
In your military costume.
Yes.
And the sun is perfectly flared. The window to get that flare must have been
so insane. It's an insane story. That was a friend's property. It's up in north of Santa Clarita. I'm like Pear Blossom.
Okay.
But there were huge fires, I think, like right before that in 2020.
Yeah.
And so there was a property that had 2 houses on it, and everything in that valley got scorched, and all the houses burned away. So all the scorched earth stuff was just a moment in time. I think it's all lush and green now.
Sure.
So we used like a scorched earth from a California fire, as like our Afghanistan, and everything went against us. And it's a long scene, like me talking about traveling through, like taking a road trip, like to Hershey, Pennsylvania, and then Florida and Texas and all those things was all improv because the director was in the background going like this because the sun,
go!
well, because the sun was still rising. So I was just like,
oh, that's a sunrise shot?
that's sunrise.
No.
Yeah, so that's sunrise. So
Okay. That's insane. I definitely thought it was sunset.
yeah, no, that's sunrise because it's coming up over the valley or coming up over the hill. And that was the first shot of the morning. And literally before that, our Steadicam ops car got a flat tire on the way to the location. So we were literally changing a tire like right before first light while everybody's screaming at us to get there, roll up on set. Our DP had set up a camera, with the director, and like literally he and I run into place in IVW, like rehearse it once, and then set the camera right so it will get the sunrise, and then we do the scene, and then the director's in the back going like this, and I'm like, what, and then I start talking about like, well, what have you seen? I mean, if you see the movie, it'll make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And then I talk about the road trip, like from Florida to Mississippi to Texas to to Arizona, and it's just kind of like beautiful how it kind of wrapped up because the Grand Canyon is like a big theme in the film. But stand up and like just going on the road or traveling for baseball was like just trashy women in Florida. I knew that from like, if you've worked in Tampa,
Yeah. Or ever been to Florida.
Yeah. And then and just hitting spots along the way, and I don't know, worked out.
It's so much harder to hit a sunrise shot than it is.
Yeah, one take. One take. It's all in one. It's a big long oneer.
Right. Because you can't do coverage.
Nope.
Unless you get the flare out, and then you have to relight everything.
Yeah, no coverage.
No.
None. One shot, camera still. But great on the director's part. A lot of restraint. People would have tried to do other shots.
Of course.
We just watched the sunrise all the way through the scene, and then he kind of gets blocked out by the sun, which is a nice metaphor, and then boom, it's the end of it.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, great, we're done. And you're like, okay. Great.
I got up at 2 a.m. for this. Yeah. Did you show up? Did you have like a wardrobe department, or did you just like... Yeah. Was it scrappy, or did you guys have
no, incredibly scrappy. So like myself and Nicole and like a couple other people, like we literally, I know I was putting in all the money that they were giving us from the pandemic. Every dollar was back out into the movie. So I would get the check, and then I would pay for something else, and I was living off credit cards and it was, and any money that we can kind of scrounge together. But it was all bootstrapped, all like self-funded, incredibly cheap. But it was a moment in time. Like Bassini is a camera house. They do a lot with female filmmakers, and like most of our above the line was all female, like director, cinematographer, producers, production designers, pretty much everybody. I know some of those were below the line, but anyway,
department heads.
Yeah, department heads, all female, and it was nice because it was, I think that lent a lot to like a really heavy-handed, like male-dominated film, like or male-dominated subject with like veterans and PTSD. So we got the female aspect of it, which I think like helped a lot. But yeah, Bassini gave us stuff. I'm gonna Hawk lenses. They gave us they gave us an entire lens package, and they were like, just promote us, like for free,
right?
And this was like the same lens package that shot Jojo Rabbit, and they were like, you can just have it, just tag us and stuff.
Well, also July of 2020,
nobody was working.
They don't like the way rental places work, cars, cameras, anything. They have more shit than they can fit on their shelves because it's supposed to be out.
Yeah.
So nothing's out, and you're like, can I take something? They're like, please.
Yeah.
At least it's under insurance. It's not in here taking up shelf space.
That was the thing. They, the camera rental was like, well, if you break this, like, we'll get the insurance money. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. They like it, but they were the greatest, and they were like, keep it as long as you want.
Right.
Keep it.
You're doing us a favor.
Yeah. You're doing us a favor. Just keep promoting us and like promoting it. And I mean, it was great. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you would do it again if you had to do it all over?
No, not that way. This is the greatest experience of my life. I never want to do again. I never want to make another movie like that.
Yeah.
I mean, no. Because it was a grind every single day. Like, it was fun. I mean, if I could, if I had to do it again, I think I could. But having money in certain ways, it always upsets me so much. And I can speak from experience because like now I have the resume to like say like, no, I've produced a feature film that sold to, you know, Lionsgate, and I've done more than a handful of like really high quality short films and other things like that, where people are like, oh, you can just go make a movie with your phone, like, and you get a lot of like big industry people that say this, and I'm like, yeah, but what are you doing with that?
Right.
Like, where's that going? Like, if you want to practice your craft, absolutely. But if
going on YouTube.
But if you're trying to do something with it, or you're trying to get it seen, or you're trying like, I mean, this idea that like, oh, you can just take a camera and your friends and you can go shoot something. I go, yeah, it'll look like shit.
Yeah.
You know,
unless your friends own a ton of shit.
Yeah, unless your friends own a ton of stuff.
But there's there's a number that breaks, right? So there's a movie that gets made for $500,000 that looks exactly like a $3 million movie.
Right.
Because you crack this tier and now you are paying for crafty and transpo and trailers and all this shit that doesn't go on camera.
Right.
So if there's a scrappy level that you get to that you're like, are we going to go bigger and look for another $3 million, or are we just going to make this for $600,000?
Yeah, I mean, we made ours for an incredibly low budget because we were just very fortunate that it took place during a time where we were able to make it happen and people were free and we had resources available to us. That movie today would cost us 5 times as much.
Yeah,
it would cost us 5 times as much as it did. So we were very much a moment in time, but we grind. It was a grind. It was like a 3-year grind for
3 years.
Well, from writing to like at the end, you know, like because we also didn't have a ton of money, you know, for post. Like we would make deals with production houses, or post production houses that were incredibly wonderful. Shout out Photochem and This Is Sound Design. Shout out those guys. You know, but we were on their back burner because we were paying them very little. So it was, you know, that process would take much longer to kind of finish. But we did everything. Like we tried to work with the best people and do as best we could with what we had. And at the end of it, like people will say like, oh, this looks like a 6-0 film. And you know, and it is, but not, it is, but it isn't. You know?
A 6-year-old film?
6 zeros, like 6 zeros in front
of
it.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of what I want to say here because I don't want to insult the budget of the film. You know, I've also been in the film business for 20 years, so there's things I'm going to see that other people aren't going to see. But the thing that I was interested in was the choice to keep the masks in the scene where you go up and have to give the speech for the first time.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you feel like that was that a conscious choice?
Yeah.
Or was it the actors going like, it's COVID?
No, it was a conscious choice of like, so much of that film was so organic and so much of it happened the way, like, you know, I don't want to sound woo-woo, like the way the universe wanted it to. It was truly one of those films, you know, where we would wake up and like have a scene and then our director and cinematographer would go scout, like right before the sunrise, and they'd find a location that we needed. And then we'd make a plan, but like a lot of times we'd have to rewrite scenes like the morning of to fit a location, or, you know, make tweaks.
Yeah.
Or we'd go out and shoot something in the morning and they'd be like, this isn't working. This doesn't work well. Let's rework it. So we just kind of felt like that was the world at that time. And I'm glad that period is over, like for the whole world. But we weren't going to shy away from it in the sense that like, you know, we wanted it to feel like real. We just wanted it to feel like very of the moment, like, and in it. And so like people wanted to wear masks, you know, that was fine. It was cool with us. We didn't care. We weren't going to be like, hey, take off your masks. Cause like, I mean, we can pretend that didn't happen for 2 years, but it did.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Where did the origin story come from? Like whose original idea was it?
Myself and a couple of the guys who wrote the film, we were kicking around this idea for like 2 years. We're all part of like a collective, and so we would just take a camera and like shoot up to Central California and like just shoot stuff. Just trying to learn how to make movies and how to write. And so we were trying to make a short film for like 2 years. And then I remember being in Cleveland in February 2020 with DeStefano, and like he was starting to murder and like sell out shows, and like there was a whisper of this like virus from China end of February. Then I flew to Jacksonville, Florida, and worked the Comedy Zone, and that was the first week of March. And while I was in Florida, like there were more and more whispers of it. Excuse me, just coffee. And then they canceled Coachella, and I was like, okay, well, we got to start paying attention because we're talking about a lot. Nobody's moving that much, like nobody's throwing that much money out the fucking window for no reason. And then something inside of me was just like very resigned to the fact that like I'm gonna fly back to California, and I'm not doing stand up the rest of the year, so I better figure out what I'm doing. I remember being like a week ahead of everybody. Like I went to the grocery store, bought a ton of waters, bought a ton of food, ordered some puzzles off Amazon, like hunkered down, and then people hit the panic button, and I was just kind of chilling, going, "Man, we'll ride this out because
it's only gonna be 2 weeks." Yeah,
and I kind of felt like like this was gonna be something in me was like, all right. So I prepped, and didn't worry about it. And then when we realized this was gonna be a while, I was like, I'm just gonna write every day. And so I sat down, and with those guys, like we would walk to the coffee shop in the morning, stand outside, and then walk around a neighborhood, talk about an idea, and then I'd write like the rest of the day into the evening. And then it just happened so quick. That started in March. In April, I think I asked Nicole to direct, and then started sending her everything. And then June, we were prepping, like getting everybody together. So, I mean, that script's loose, okay?
Yeah.
The script in the film is loose. And
it's like a third draft is the shooting script.
Yeah, and it's not perfect. And it doesn't need to be. I know I learned so much about what it takes to make a story, and like so much, we threw out so much act one where I'm like, man, I didn't need so much of this shit.
Right. It's like the first draft of a joke. It's like you don't need to get everybody all the way to here.
I don't need this. I don't need this. And like we went through a big edit. Like editing the film was like putting puzzle pieces together. But I mean it happened very fast. I don't even remember what the question was. I was just on a tangent.
I just love the whole idea of the fact that you were like, oh, I got an idea. Me and my buddies have an idea for a movie.
Yeah.
We got some fucking time off.
Yeah.
We can scrape together a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Let's go fucking do it.
Yeah, and let's go do it.
Because I think there's more stories of people who wasted their pandy than people who were productive during their pandy.
Right.
I went into my studio and I did a daily pop culture podcast that literally no one saw. I think I got 3 views a day on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But I was doing something every day.
Right.
I just had to go. I had to get out of the house. I had to go to a certain place with my bubble, and I had to make something.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I damn sure wasn't writing comedy. Should have had an hour.
Everybody should have had an hour. No, I think the coming out the same. It was this myth people like to tell themselves.
Yeah. Oh, it's over now. We're going back to normal.
Yeah. No, you either came out ahead or behind. Yeah. And the beginning of the pandemic is when I think like my life started to shift, or I started to have like a shift in my life where I was like, all right, I gotta get this going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you serve?
No. Grew up in Georgia. Best friend still active. Two best friends growing up, still both active in different branches. One of the writers on the film is currently active. Our music supervisor, former military, one of our consultants on the film, 3 tours.
Wow.
During the shit.
Yeah.
So fingerprints of active military all over the film.
Yeah.
Never claimed to serve, but have an incredible respect for it. And and I think wanted to kind of explore I'm always hesitant to say trauma, but just like the shit in my life in a way that like I think was a nice vehicle that people could relate to, that like had a bigger reach and like a bigger purpose than my own.
Yeah.
Me dealing with like, there was we could shed some light on like a topic. That's what we were doing.
Yeah, and that's a topic that definitely needs more attention.
People don't know what we're talking about. It's a road trip movie about 2 veterans. So
it'll make sense in the edit. I'll put it all together. No, I won't.
No. So
we'll cover it all in the intro. There's a movie. You're in it. You wrote it.
Yeah.
You shot it.
Yeah.
And it's about road trip stuff.
Yeah.
But
great.
That's I'm on the back of the DVD now, like road trip stuff.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's those subjects can be broached incorrectly. There's what people should know as filmmakers that a lot of people at home don't know. There's 150 people it takes to make a movie from the beginning to the end, right. And one of those people can fuck up your whole film.
The whole thing.
It's a miracle anytime a film is complete.
It's the biggest miracle in the entire world that anything gets done. And people like to, crap all over Hollywood and making movies. And until you soup to nuts, make one.
Right.
Like, soup to nuts. And I mean, like, turning a film over to a studio soup to nuts. Like that. And you have no idea. You got no idea.
Everybody thinks they can do it.
Yep.
It's like comedy. It's a lot like comedy. They're like, that guy's just up there talking.
Yeah. That's all we're doing.
That's it.
You and your skits.
You're doing your little skits.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. People are, I made a YouTube video once. Why can't I make a film?
You can.
Yeah.
You can with your iPhone.
I run into kids all the time that are like, well, I wrote this. I can't see why the Paramount won't let me direct it. I'm like, well, what have you directed? And they're like, well, nothing, but I wrote it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to give you $30 million?
Mm-mm.
No.
No. No chance.
Yeah. You got something else cooking? Did it spawn a new idea? You're writing something?
Yeah, I write all the time. Write the next 2 features. One with a partner, one with a writing partner, and the other one on my own, and then developing like the next, like, I don't know. There's always a bunch like in line.
Do you always want to stay movies, or do you want to get a writer's room job?
No, I don't want to do writer's room. I mean, listen, I'll take the money if anybody's out there. I'll do it for a year.
Yeah. I've said this on the show a couple times. The WGA minimum.
Yeah.
I said it all during the strike because I wasn't happy about the strike. WGA minimum for a writer's room is $13,500 a week.
Okay.
That's a nice check.
Yeah. I'd buy a truck with that.
Yeah. Are you in the market?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could buy a truck with that.
Yeah. Like a tractor trailer truck?
No, dude, I want if I work a few weeks, no. I would buy like a late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Just a square.
Like a Bronco?
Just a Nah, I don't want a Bronco. There's a million Broncos. Just a single cab, like, I don't know. Just an old Chevy. Mm-hmm. Just and put some tires on it and ride off into the sunset.
I follow an Instagram account that like restores old Broncos, where they put like the brand new V8 in it and the Bluetooth sound system and the seats are all new. And I'm like, call me when you make a hybrid, bro.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
You want a hybrid?
I wouldn't mind. An all electric 78 Bronco?
No. All electric?
You don't even hear it coming.
Electric?
Oh, dude, electric's got so much power.
I don't care.
Speaking of electric,
they're going to flip the switch off, dude, and you're not going to be able to drive that thing.
The grid cannot handle the amount of cars they're demanding us driving in California. Speaking of which, I don't know when this is going to come out, but this week, currently, as we sit here, there's a massive snowstorm on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Where every Tesla is currently just out of commission. It's too cold for them to turn on, and the chargers don't work.
Oops. That's why you live in America. Drive a gas car.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I like the hybrid. I like the half electric that'll get you to the store and back for 30 miles, but it still needs a gas engine in it.
That's what Toyota's killing it, and that's why they didn't go into the EV game. They do the hybrids. They know how difficult that is. I don't like it. People talk about like how good it is for the environment. You have to drive at 78,000 miles before you hit neutral. Like before you hit like that crux where it's like, okay, now it becomes better for the environment. You're gonna drive at 78,000 miles first. And then we're gonna talk about all the gas to get the lithium out of the thing, and then all the people pulling the lithium out. And then
how much are they getting paid?
We have had no way to dispose of the lithium, so it's like, yeah, good. Just drive your.
There's a reason why that shit is buried in the earth.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah,
it's not good. So I'll drive my gas car. I did a show in Chicago once, and like an oil exec was there, and we were talking about oil. And I think I asked him, I was like, "How much longer will we use gas?" And he goes, "Till we run out."
Yeah, he knows.
And I was like, "That's a solid answer."
Yeah.
So I'll drive a gas car.
Well, Dubai knew when they were going to run out of money, so they put it all into infrastructure and tourism and building all these buildings.
Yeah.
Like somebody knows. Somebody knows where the E sign is.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to tell us. I think they're going to milk us for all the money we can.
It's not in our lifetime. I don't got to worry about it.
Yeah?
No.
All right. As long as we don't have kids, we're fine.
I don't know.
I'm not having kids.
No?
Nah.
I want to have one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How old are you?
34. I'm turning 35 at the end of the month. I'm 34.
You're a baby. All right. Yeah, you got plenty of time.
Yeah.
I'm well into my 40s.
Well, I don't know. I think, and you've been through this, so you know, but I think there's a shift that's happening to me now where, like, I'm 34, about to be 35, and I'm looking around and go, am I going to die alone?
Yep.
And I'm not, but, like, I'm also, life has shifted where, like, priorities have changed, and so I would like to start a family, in the not-too-distant future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened to every single one of my best friends. Right in the middle of their 30s, they were like, I don't want to die alone. Next girlfriend.
Yeah.
Marriage.
Yeah.
So
now I have the patience to wait for the right one because
Yeah.
I know how difficult that can be if it's not.
Yeah.
But
it's also tough dating in LA. It's a rough market here. But you spend enough time on the road, you can meet a nice young lady in Atlanta, whatever, and you know.
good.
The whole goal of making it in LA is to get the fuck out of LA and then
So
come in
strange.
and make it again for a day or two and then get out.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best part of this town is getting out of this town.
I can leave this town for 3 days before I'm like, I need to get back to LA.
Yeah. One weekend.
Yeah. 3 days after that, I start to really like crave Los Angeles. But I do have the goal of like buying a piece of property.
Are you a ranch guy or a farm guy? Because the whole Yellowstone thing, right? Now everybody wants a ranch, but before that it was all like, oh, I grow all my own food and I'm a farm guy.
So I don't need a lot of cattle. I don't need a lot of head of cattle. A few.
Yeah.
But definitely into the farming now. Like my apartment, shout out Studio City, it's very green. Got a lot of plants now. And then I've also started growing tomatoes
in the little towers inside or like on your balcony?
No, on my balcony. My balcony's great. Yeah, tomatoes, peppers, a lot of different herbs, and then anything else I can kind of like start to grow. I mean, we're looking at there's a lot of seeds working right now, so we'll see what else pops out. But I need a house because it's getting sad.
Yeah,
it's just getting sad in the apartment.
I remember my grandpa. He had a freedom garden. Like he just grew 4 or 5 rows of shit every year.
Yep.
Every day there's something from the yard on the table.
Yep.
For dinner every night.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. There's something about growing something that I don't know.
I got a buddy that he's a writer also, and he just disappeared to 400 acres in Louisiana. He got married. His lady's got a piece of land. Yeah. He's got a lake.
Yeah.
He can go fish.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Why would I be in an apartment in Koreatown? What are we doing?
Right.
Yeah.
I want to come back here for 1 week a month, get all my pods done, hit the store for a couple spots.
That's it. It's the dream.
Yeah.
It's the absolute dream.
Keep my little beach apartment.
Yeah.
Because it's rent controlled.
Do you live in the West Side?
Yeah.
Nice.
I moved down there during Pandy. I was like, I've been in the Valley for 15 years.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be stuck inside,
You
I want to see some water. Yeah.
I love my apartment. It is my favorite thing in the entire world. And I always tell people, even if I buy a house here, I will still keep that apartment.
Yeah.
We'll still keep it.
Is it rent controlled?
I mean, they haven't raised it. I don't know if it's rent controlled. I don't think it is. But, they don't do a lot. And there's
Right. You don't bother them, they don't bother you.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I've signed a lease in they don't send me a new one every year. So it's great. Should leave me alone. I pay my rent first of every month. Fuck
there you
off.
go. That's all that matters.
That's it.
I say that. I keep bragging that my place is rent controlled, but they just haven't raised it.
Yeah.
I hope they don't. Because now it's at the point I'm coming up on 3 years next month.
Yeah.
So it's like there'll be a point in 4 years where like I'll have to pay more to downgrade.
Yeah.
Like if I want to move back to the Valley or I want to move anywhere.
That's exactly right.
So I'm going to be paying twice what I'm paying now to get a shittier place. Might as well ride it out.
That's it. I'm with you.
Yeah. If you bought in Los Angeles, what neighborhood are we talking?
Really like Studio City. Big fan of it. My writing partner has a house in Santa Monica, and there's right down Rose, and there's a lot to desire about living there. Don't think I would though, because I know the kind of problems that he runs into. Won't say it. But I don't know. I really like Studio City. I live in a great neighborhood. Maybe I go farther east. Maybe something in. That's west. Would I go to Encino? I don't know. Maybe.
It just seems where like
I know,
the Valley-bound most successful people
go to Encino.
They're like, oh, it's Beverly Hills. No, it's Toluca
not.
Lake.
Yeah.
Like all the musicians, all the famous musicians live in Toluca Lake, which is a neighborhood of yours.
Yeah.
And then
in Toluca Lake.
Encino is where we end up shooting most of the commercials because the houses are so big.
Yeah.
You get a lot of land out there.
You do. You get way more land. So I don't know. So I think it's more the house than the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd like a spot in Ventura.
Ooh.
Maybe Ojai. Do a little farm.
Filmed out in Ojai. Nice out there. A little far. It's like a little isolated for me.
But if you only got to come in to do a podcast once a week, you enjoy the ride, you're getting driven in. We're talking about like a world where we have enough money to buy millions of dollars of a house or a farm.
Yeah.
You can afford to get driven into Los Angeles for your meetings.
All right. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
There's enough room for a horse and, a garden.
Yeah.
So we're good.
Horses need a lot of love.
Yeah.
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 What got me through most of my panding is watching this guy on YouTube. His name's Justin Rhodes, and he does daily farm vlogs. He lives in North Carolina, which is where I'm from.
Okay.
He lives a little further west than I grew up, but it gets a little cold in the wintertime, but it doesn't really snow. But he lives on his family's like 18-acre property. Mm-hmm. He does subsistence farming, rotational agriculture. Nice. So like he'll have a paddock for the cows, moves them the next day. Sheep follow the cows, chickens follow the sheep. Everybody moves, everybody spreads each other's shit. And it just, he's tearing down trees to make more paddocks and more pastures. And he's just like documenting the whole thing. He's got 5 beautiful kids. And I watch it every night to fall asleep. I'm like,
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. There's a lot to be. I keep thinking like now. I'm like, okay, well, who or what sold us this idea of like moving out to California and like chasing this, whatever this is, and the idea of like, fame and fortune being the goal, and then seeing guys that are like live on a farm and have a beautiful family and do all this other things, and you're like, I don't know. Maybe it's grass always greener, but like, maybe there's a balance.
I think the grass is greener where you water it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've been told. I don't know, because I keep watering the grass in California, and I'm like, dude, I'm going on 20 years here.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to get to the point where I can tour comedy.
Yeah.
And get out of here.
I think for the last, I've been here 11 plus years now, have just kind of moved forward with not a very specific direction.
Right.
It's always been like this route, whatever it is, whether it's like writing, stand up, acting, like, and there's been other people who have been like very calculated and very like, just one direction 100%. And I don't know. I think maybe it's that. I think that's what I'm trying to find in my life is like, okay, like I want to get very specific about where it is that I'm going and what I want to do. Yeah. And I know that like, clearly incredibly hard worker, very talented. You're like, okay, well, if I just point this in, if I get really specific about what I want it to look like and what it is, like, it's like you doing the thing every day during the pandemic, dude. You just put in time, you put in work, you build the foundation, dropping a bucket.
I appreciate that, and it's funny that you say that because I just went through this phase of like feeling completely lost and directionless. So I hired a performance coach.
Okay. And
all he does is he asks you questions. He doesn't tell you what to do or how hard you should work. He goes, what would it look like if you achieved all your dreams in 365 days?
Right.
And you're like, oh, it'd look like this. It would be a house, it'd be this, it would be a farm or something. He's like, okay, well, what's standing between you and that? Well, I need to do this and that. So, okay, well, when would you like to accomplish those goals? He just asks you these therapy-based questions.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're unlocking all this like, oh, well, if I do this and that, then I can do this and this. And then if I do it in this order, in this time frame.
Right.
And then he makes you agree to a timeline on these things. And you're like, okay, I expect you to do these 2 things by the time I speak to you next week. And you're like, it's an accountability buddy.
That's exactly what it is.
And all of a sudden you're just like overperforming to the point where he's like, well, this week you did more than you said you were going to do. So that's a breach of your integrity because you said you were going to do this much.
Right.
And then you also said you were going to chill out and do some time for yourself, but you overworked this week. So like doing too much is also, it's all about integrity with yourself, integrity with your accountability. And then you go like, oh, like if I do pause and take time for my life, then I will get the stories for the comedy or for the new film or the podcast or whatever. And you don't experience this burnout because without direction, we all tend to just sit behind our laptops for 14 hours a day. And we're like, well, if I just keep doing this, someone will call.
That's exactly,
And that's how I think a lot of people get burned out.
Yeah. I think like that's what I've run into, especially after this last year where I've kind of like looked around and like, I don't really compare, but you look at other people as like, okay, these are good markers. These are where peers are at. This is what's going on in the world. This is where I'm at. And, and then I think it was like, okay, where is the issue? It's not anybody external. It's not, it's me. And then it's like, all right, well, what are we doing 23? That's been the first part of this year. Like the first 2 weeks been like 2-3 weeks. Like what did I accomplish in 23? That's great. All right, let's try and celebrate that a little bit in a sense of like, at least pat myself on the back. Cause I have an incredibly hard time doing that.
Yeah.
And I did do it. I mean, I did a lot. And then, okay, what do I want to accomplish in 24? What do I want it to look like? Where do I want to go? And then it's like, it's exactly what you're talking about. It's like, what are the actionable steps to get to there doing what I can control, right?
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's
and
it.
then if the step is too big and you're like, I don't really know how to get from here to here, then it's just smaller steps and smaller chunks. And then you just keep breaking it down. And apparently anything is possible. I mean, these coaches really want to coach you until you become a coach and coach other people. And I just led off with like, there's no fucking way that I am going to coach anyone. And I've been in it for a month now, and I'm like, oh, I'm learning stuff I could really share with other people.
Well, I think that's part of any sort of like, systems like that or any sort of program.
I just don't want anybody on the payroll. It's like, dude, if you want to know what I know, I'm an open book. Let's go get a beer. But like sitting down on a scheduled appointment and like running your credit card for me to tell you what I know, that's never going to happen.
No, I know. But once you get it, you got to give it away.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it.
The hard part for us, I'll say us, and don't let me speak for you, but is that some of our peers are wildly successful. But they're just, that's just Bob, right? Bobby, whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll see them at the club or we'll be on tour with them, and they're just like blasting through life and just killing goals and being wildly successful. And it's hard not to go like, I want what he has, without being like, I don't feel jealous. I look at their work ethic and go, what are they working on that I'm not working on? What can I adopt into my own plan?
Right.
Do you have a problem comparing yourself to wildly successful friends of yours, or is it just like, yeah, that'd be cool, I can't wait to get there?
First of all, I feel like whatever that jealousy or whatever that ego thing is, like, never really had the jealous thing, and all of the ego stuff that I think like I try to attack, or like at least have the self-awareness to identify very quickly where I'm like, no, that's ego. You gotta nip that shit now. And I'm a firm believer in what's for them is for them and what's for me is for me. And I also know that, like, the wildly successful friends, and they've worked their fucking ass. Nobody is anywhere by fucking accident. Like, nobody that I know, nobody that I'm friends with is there by accident. Fucking no one.
Right.
And if you do get there by accident, which social media has done to a lot of people, boy, do you get fucking found out real quick. Boy, is that a fucking quick fall. And so, like, everything always fucking equals out. I see where they're at and I see what they have. And it's good to go, okay, well, what are they? It's good to identify what they do that does make them successful. And then you have to ask yourself, well, am I doing those things? But it's also like, do I want that career? Do I want it to look like that? What do I want it to look like? What do I want to be able to do? And then I'll turn it around and go, okay, well, what am I doing? And it's different. Like, a lot of the guys that are super successful in stand-up, right? And then they've parlayed that to other things. Like, I always known in my career, like, I always wanted to do I always wanted to do the acting and the writing and the stand-up. And I fucking hate the question, well, if you had to pick one, fuck you.
You don't have to pick one.
I don't have to pick one.
No.
I refuse to pick one. I've worked incredibly hard, like the last 11 years, working on all of these things and bringing all of them up. I'm not going to pick one. I'm going to do, it can look like I want it to look. And knowing that now, there is no like, well, he did this, so this is his track, and I just have to follow that. Mine is way different because I'm doing all of these different things. And when one hits, say, which is a whatever, all of them will be there.
Yeah.
And I'll do it the way that feels authentic and organic to me. So like, no, man, the comparing and the ego stuff, like, I don't have it. Like, do I look around sometimes and would be like, man, it'd be nice to be able to cover this dinner for everybody.
Right.
Like, yeah, like that's what, that's the part of it where I'm like, man, I wish I could take care of the people that take care of me, more than I do. Right. Or in different ways, money's always nice. It's fucking nice. It makes life easier. It makes things more accessible, and it takes some sort of stress off of you. But that's not. I'm not like money focused and a lot of the stuff these guys have to put up with fame wise, like, acting wise, things have really started to progress, and like I think I'm taking really nice steps where hopefully one of these days soon, like, land like a really nice role on television or something that will in some way elevate, so like the people's awareness of like who I am.
Right.
But I know that like being famous, not what I want, you know, in a sense that like, I don't know. I don't need it.
Yeah.
I want to, you know, you can give me the money. I want to work. I want to create. I want to do stuff with my friends. I want to have the freedom to move around. And then I kind of just want to be left to my whatever I want to do.
Yeah. I saw a clip with Ben Affleck this morning on the internet.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah. He's like, I'm not good at being famous. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, listen, as a performer, I would like to perform for people. But when I'm done and I walk out the stage door, I just want to go to my car.
Yeah.
I just want to be left alone. So, I mean, inherently, like if you play Batman for DC for 4 films,
people are going to know you.
Yeah. I mean, everybo's been knowing him for 20 some odd years.
Right.
But I think he handles it pretty well. I don't know him very well.
No.
But
no. And that's something that I've always struggled with, like with acting and stand-up, is having, I guess, the anonymity of what most successful actors kind of do, because nobody knows who they are outside of on screen. And then stand-ups and the breaking the fourth wall of whatever social media is and letting people into that, those things are like oil and water. They don't mix really well. So trying to figure out how to like do those in tandem, right? Or have the social aspect of what I guess stand-up, you know, requires now,
right,
has been an incredibly challenging, like trying to navigate that has been incredibly difficult.
Yeah, because the town will say, if you're a writer, you're a writer. If you're an actor, you're an actor.
Right.
They want to see you as one thing.
Right.
And I love that you're doing multiple things. The town will also say, oh, you're a comedian? Here are the funny roles you can audition for. Like if you waited for Hollywood to give you the role that you created for yourself in this film, you'd be waiting the rest of your fucking life. The minute they hear you're a comedian, they're like, well,
yeah.
I think one comedian that does a really good job of taking serious roles is Bill Burr.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done everything. He's been the fucking haha guy, but he's also been the straight guy.
Yeah, he's been the straight guy in a lot of the films recently.
Yeah.
Which I like. I think it's great. Yeah.
I think Santino's done a great job of taking those comedic roles.
Done a terrific job of like being a stand-up and then being able to dance, you know, with the success of his podcast, and then go off and do, you know, some really quality television and like film stuff that I'm like, I really admire.
I don't feel like he has to become a clown to act, because I think he's got a great edge on him.
Yeah.
And he can be funny without being like hokey.
He's not hokey funny. The motherfucker's just funny.
He's just funny.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to. I think a lot of people, when they get their first couple of roles as a comedian, they're like, you know, they're just dancing for the, you know, dancing monkey. Like, oh, I'm here to be silly. It's like, you're here to say the words that somebody wrote for.
Oh, by the way, I watched the clip of you saying that acting was easy.
Ah, shit. Yeah. I was hoping I could get through this interview without that.
Buddy. No fucking chance. I saw the clip of you going, yeah, acting's easy. All they do, fucking everything's taken care of. It's set up. All they got to do is fucking memorize their lines. Fuck you.
All right, wait. Are you saying fuck you as a writer, or are you saying fuck you as an actor?
I'm saying fuck you as an actor.
All right. I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right.
It couldn't be, the type of actor that I wish to be and I'm pursuing tells you to go fuck yourself.
I received that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the type of AD and director that I am tells you that it's just not that hard, man. Go to wardrobe and get to set, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Because here's what I'm dealing with. This is the story behind the story is that there's a new wave of kids that come to set and they're like, they don't learn their lines till the day of because they want it to be fresh.
No.
And I'm from the old school. I used to shoot on film.
Yeah.
Like, be prepared.
Fresh.
Show up. Like, show up and be in your character. Like, I get it.
People need to study. You know, Brando seemed fresh because he did Streetcar on Broadway for a number of years. I think I should clarify. I'm pretty certain about that. So it wasn't fresh.
Right.
I mean, he knew the text inside and out.
Yeah.
There was no, I'll learn it the day of. And I listen. Everybody has their own process. I don't judge. All I know is, you know, for what I know, it's, you know, show up. There's certain things you need to show up prepared to do.
And to be fair, I cut that clip specifically to piss off actors for the integration of the algorithm. The larger conversation is that it's, to me, of everybody that showed up to work to make that film, I think acting is the easiest of all of the jobs on set. Not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like there's dudes that have to get in a crane and like do crazy shit.
Yeah.
There's people that have to like stunt drivers. And
I think being on the other side of it and producing, knowing that like actors always think that they're the most important part of it, right? Or that they're the focal point of it. They are, when I'm producing, they are my last fucking thought. You know, when you're setting up for a shot, they are your last fucking thought. However,
I can't wait to cut this up because I'm going to cut it with my other clip.
Yeah. However, you know, that guy could be up on a crane. You know, people could light this thing for a fucking hour. You know, the director could have like, you know, talked with the DP and they can have some beautiful fucking camera movements and everything can have, you know, everybody can be so fucking skilled behind it. And then some dope can get up there and absolutely fucking butcher it and just ruin all of it and take you completely out of it.
Right.
So, you know.
To be fair, the second most useless person on a film set is the director.
I think good ones have done their job before they show up.
Good ones, yes. 99% of directing is in the prep.
Yeah.
So if you catch a director that's like, oh, I'll just figure it out on the day. I'm like, the number one thing you're going to tell me on the day is that I want more time with my actors. And I'm like, well, you should have picked the color of this wall and the color of the clothes then.
Yeah.
Because now we're shooting.
Yeah.
I can make a film without a director. I can't make it without the actors.
A lot of films have been made without directors.
I have made films without a director. I'm like, sit in the chair, kid. We'll see at the rap party.
Yeah. I will say film and television are so different. They're so different. It's really hard. And I've been on some really great film sets and some really great television sets now too. And I've also like, there's just different type of work. Like, you know, I think people who don't know, I don't know whether actors or just comics or whatever, but like, you know, I consider like procedurals, like that's blue collar work. Like I go to New York and I'm making my insurance and I'm paying rent when I go there. And I show up with my hard hat. I hit my mark. I say my fucking line. I go sit in my chair. I don't bother nobody.
Right.
And then when they go, all right, Don, you done? I go, poof.
Yeah.
Gone.
Cloud of dust.
Gone.
And I think the crew feels that way too.
Yeah. Oh boy, the fucking crews in New York feel that way. Sorry, I don't know if we can cuss on this podcast.
Sure. Fuck yeah.
Okay. And then I've been on, you know, some sets where it's like, I'm in a show that's coming out on Apple this year that stars Colin Farrell, and Fernando Morales was the director on that, and he did. Oh God, what was it? City of God? Is that the name of the film? People are gonna crucify me if I don't know this, so I should probably look it up. Anyway,
that's all right. I'll put the thing at the bottom or whatever.
Yeah. But Oscar-nominated director, and you know, working with him, and it's you're like, oh, this is different, right? You know, this is something different.
Is it I don't know how many people are going to understand this. I know you will, but is it a he? It's a he.
He.
Is he a go for a walk kind of guy? Hey, come with me.
No.
He's a right on set. Just this is where you're at, kind of like very direct.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And kind of leaves you to your own devices in a really organic way, but still guides it because his like how he shoots with his DP is super specific, and he gives you the room, like he gives you the rope, but like, man, I did that show, and I'm part of the crew that is hiding something from Colin's character, and the leader of the crew, I would say like the main villain of the show. He first day on set, we were shooting a like big ensemble scene, and the guy showed up and he didn't know his lines, and he was just kind of flat and very generic with what a villain or a bad guy in this situation would be. And when the next shooting day, when we had our crew back together, he was no longer there. He was replaced, and we had to reshoot all that.
Love
stuff.
it.
And so you're just like,
I love that shit.
Yeah. I mean, there's just like, when you're on sets like that, you know, with companies like that and people like that, and there's just not a lot of room for error. And, you know, I learned that early. I learned that on Green Book too. I'm like, there's no room for, if you're not prepared, you know, there was no chance. Here's the thing, kids learn to set. There was no chance I'm in my 20s showing up to set with Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali and Linda Cardellini, not knowing what I'm supposed to say in that scene. Are you out of your mind? you know, what I'm going to tell Pete fairly, be like, sorry, Pete, it'll come to me. I just I need to feel what I'm supposed to say here.
I'm not safe yet.
Yeah, I think
I gotta find it.
Yeah, he said, you know, Vigo said this, and it doesn't really resonate with me. So can we try something?
Yeah, Vigo's not coming from a place of truth. I don't think he would say it that way. I've heard some actors say some real silly shit over the years, and of course, look, I'm only selling soap and Nintendos, right? Yeah. It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
but like for me, if an actor's like, you know, what's the motivation? I'm like, that's what the money's for.
Yeah.
Say the words.
Just say the words.
Just buy a Nintendo on 2019, like whatever.
I think, you know, I'm a mentor and my acting, I guess my acting teacher, who I've studied with for a number of years now, he was like, good acting is good living. So like we work on our craft, but like a lot of it is like it's more about life. It's more about living well and becoming a good human and actually like experiencing things. And so I don't know. I think there's a balance. There's a balance between like, you know, acting is easy and acting is hard.
Yeah.
And it's a spectrum of everything in between.
Yeah. Well, I hope I didn't upset you. I was doing it for the clicks.
No, dude. I just thought it was funny. I was like, I'm going to touch on that because
please do. Yeah.
Because, you know, work very hard at it being super easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that and I was hopefully speaking for myself. But I wasn't trying to say that anybody could do it.
Right.
I just feel like assisting directors for so long.
Yeah.
I've learned all the lingo and how to talk to actors. And along the way, I was like, I always stand in if I can. If there's no stand-ins and somebody can stand in, I'm always in front of the camera.
Right.
Trying to get used to, like, in case I ever decide that my memory is going to get better and I can memorize lines. I can't do it. I can memorize an entire script as an AD.
Yeah.
They're like, line. I'm like, before script, you could even say it. I'm like, da-da-da-da.
Right, because you heard it.
Yeah. Well, I broke it down for 4 weeks.
Right.
But if it's my turn to say it, I'm like...
Totally different when the pressure's on.
That's right. And I've never...
Way different when the... Buddy, and that's the other thing, too. You're like, oh, it's just so easy. All right.
Come on, let's go.
No. Being on a show with... I did another show called Gassa. It was on Stars. But that was like... That was the largest crew I've ever seen in my life. 200 people, easy crew. And I have no idea. I mean, Universal and NBC were just throwing money on that one for whatever reason. But, you know, those days are like, there's 200 people on the other side of this. And it's like, okay, now I got to step in and say my lines. And you're like, well, okay, there's pressure on that side of it, dude. You're staring down the barrel of the gun. Yeah. And there's 50 people in that room going, yeah.
Yeah. So when I say cut, all those 200 people are asking me what to do. And I have
immediately
and I'm like doing the thing, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm more comfortable when the cameras are off.
Yeah.
To be like, all right, dude, we're gonna go to the next set, everybody. Like that's fine. Like I don't give a shit.
I think when actors realize that they're part of this, you know, everybody's part of this machine.
Right.
Everything's a lot easier.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that can come from number one all the way down.
Yeah.
I had a friend that worked on the last Top Gun.
Yeah.
And by all reports, Tom was just super great.
I listen. People like to knock him for whatever reason. I think he did save movies.
Yeah.
I think he did save movies. I've heard wonderful things about him, and man, I would have loved to have been a part of that film. So cool.
Yeah.
Dude, I was sitting in that theater. I think I saw it a couple times, but I was sitting in that theater, and every time they were talking on the ground, I was like, "Get back in that fucking plane. Let's go, dude. Yeah. Let's go."
Oh, I have so many stories to tell you off camera.
Oh, dude, I was jazzed up. I would have loved to have been a part of that, man. The checks, the residual checks that must be coming in off that one. Whew.
Yeah.
Could have bought a farm. You know?
Could have bought a farm.
Even if I was there for like 3 days, probably could have bought a farm.
Probably.
But I mean, then you go back and you watch him in the 80s and you see all the great films you did, and you're like, dude, this dude really doesn't miss.
No.
He really doesn't miss. That dude's solid.
I saw a clip the other day about how Marvel offered him Iron Man first, and he passed on it. But before it was Iron Man, it wasn't.
I know.
It wasn't anything. Like Downey made that whole thing.
Yeah. You ever hear Jeff Bridges talk about how like him and Downey and Favreau were like writing like scenes like day of on set, and Bridges was like, I just had to resign to myself that this was like $100 million student film. And he goes, and once I did that, he goes, you know, it became a lot easier. It became a lot more fun.
Right.
I thought that was great.
I mean, there's always more money in the Disney vault. But Marvel wasn't Disney yet.
Was it first one Sony? I don't know. I don't know.
Who knows? It's hard to keep track of like who owns Spider-Man and all that shit.
Sony, yeah, right. Everybody, yeah.
They're all going to be one thing eventually.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what's kind of going on with this whole industry. I think that's why it's been slow coming back too.
Right.
Especially now being like, it's mid-January. I don't know when this is coming out, but it's been like a slow creep. Like people have been like kind of creeping through the door going, what's...
Yeah. Well, in December, we were sitting around. They were like, oh, Q1, everybody's going to roll out the new budgets. We'll start shooting again. Okay. Yeah. It's Q1. I used to start every year with like a 10 to 12 day like editorial type fashion shoot in Palm Springs every year for like 12 years straight.
Right.
It was great. Kick off the year with a big check. Super cool. Last 2-3 years in a row. Mm-hmm. I mean, I still hear from these clients throughout the year, but I don't hear from them like I used to.
Right. Things have changed. You go, where's the money?
Yeah.
Where is it? I don't know.
It's got to be somewhere.
It is somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then big corporations are squeezing us with all this inflation. But we don't have time to get into that.
I don't want to go down that road, dude.
All right.
That's cool. I don't know. This hat's red and blue for a reason. We start getting real patriotic.
All right.
No.
These colors don't run.
No, they don't.
If you had, all right, last serious question, we'll go for a funny question.
Okay.
If you had, knowing what you know now, if you had to go back, would you have served?
Part of me wants to say yes. I think looking back at what I was doing 18 to 22, which is probably prime serving years, I was chasing baseball and I went to college. I don't regret that. Thinking about what happened when I got out, and this is a super easy question to like be able to be like, yeah, I'd serve. Like I'm 30, I'm about to be 35, past it, but I think at like 23 or 23 when baseball ended, if I had like joined up and signed up for like 4 years or whatever it is, I think that would have been, I don't know. I think, Lord willing, I think I would have been, I would have liked to have seen the man I am now because of that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of, 23 to like 27, there was a lot of like dicking around out here. Mm-hmm. There's a ton of dicking around. I think I wasted a lot of time. I did and I didn't.
Yeah. Because a lot of it feels like I'm socializing to network when you first get here, or you at least tell yourself. That's what I told myself. I don't want to speak for you.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting thing where like that is the illusion that's part of it, or that needs to be part of it.
Yeah. Like I got to get out and be seen, and somebody will meet me, and I'll be. It's not how it works.
No, it's not at all how it works. No. Granted, you need to be social. Granted, there's things you should do. Mm-hmm. You need to go out. You need to meet people. You need to have friends. But the way that like I went out in my 20s here in LA, I look back and I'm like, how much time did I feel like I wasted? I feel like I wasted time. And I think if I'd served, it wouldn't have been wasting time in that sense.
Right. I think the things that you learn in your service that you probably hate in the moment serve you back for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I came very close to signing up.
Really?
Yeah. Sat down to sign my Marine contract. Ooh. And the guy was like, I knew you were going to sign. And I was like, how'd you know? He goes, because everybody who's ever sat in that chair signed the contract. I flicked the pen down on his desk and I walked out. Wow. I was a piece of shit in high school. High school dropout, like bad kid.
You were prime for them.
I was ready to. I mean,
yeah, you were their
they were
target
like,
demo.
They saw me coming. Yeah. But I'm also the kind of kid that you need to talk shit to after I sign, because I'll be the kid that walks the fuck out the door.
Right.
So I don't know where I would have ended up.
Yeah, I again, knowing the type of men and women that do that and the sacrifice and all that stuff, like I would like to think that, I would do that, but. Again, I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, the level of sacrifice is insane. But we'll end on a happy note.
Sure. Whatever you want.
Not that was a sad note. It's just reflective of the sacrifices that some people give us through their service in the military.
Yeah.
I asked everybody the same question to end.
All right.
What is the best meal you've ever had in your whole life?
Oh, this is easy. I mean, the easy answer is I did a fine dining experience with my brother in Las Vegas a number of years ago at Joël Robuchon's. And that was like 5 courses, and that was, I mean, as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What casino was that in?
MGM. It's at the MGM.
Wow.
But I am Italian, and I'm also bougie, and so I've had some good, like, I have some really good meals in my life. Mm-hmm. But that's just like a cut above.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like doing stuff like that. Like, I don't consider, going to like a really nice restaurant like throwing away money, because it's an experience for me, and it's like, fuck you, I worked for it. It's my money.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you are what you eat.
I'm a fancy bitch.
Yeah. Anytime someone says courses, I'm like, oh, they ate good.
Yeah. Smaller, but just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just absolutely amazing. I don't know.
That's nuts. I've been to Vegas 100 times, and I've never heard of that place.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've probably read the sign, probably walked by it, but
yeah, it like tucked away, kind of hidden, but one of the best. But I'll like go to the city. I like go to cities and like look for the best. Like, okay, where's it at? Where am I going? What are we doing? Yeah, like I got some buddies that are going to New York next month, and they hit me up, and they're like, hey, we're going to New York. You want to meet us? I go, what are you going for? And they're like, to eat. And I was like, all right, I'll be there. I'll see if I can make that work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got some good food in New York.
Yeah. I think Chicago is the best food city in the country, though.
Really?
Yeah, and I think Chicago and LA's on the fucking come up. So I think Chicago, LA, New York. Yeah, I think all those are really strong.
What city has the worst food? Or is it just a tie for everybody else? Everybody else has Olive Garden and
Jacksonville,
Chili's.
Florida.
They're number one at being the worst in a lot of things.
I don't want to crap on Jacksonville, because there's some cool people, some wonderful things down there.
There's cool people everywhere.
There
There's
are
good people on both sides.
There's good people on both sides. There's good people everywhere. Yep. Contrary to what we read or hear or see, good people everywhere.
Yep.
And probably, I don't know.
All right, I'll leave you on this one. What's your favorite city to perform in? Favorite club? Favorite theater?
Favorite theater was probably the Wiltern now. But I did MSG. We did the MSG theater with Chris, and I did it with Stefano, and that was pretty insane. Did that last year. That was insane.
Have you done the Wilbur?
No. I want to.
We got that one on the books coming up.
Nice.
I'm so excited.
With Drew? Mm-hmm. Oh, very cool. Yeah. Yeah, Drew was the first guy that ever took me out.
Really?
Man.
Yeah. What restaurant did you go to?
It's nice. No, that was the first dude that rocked with me on the road, man.
That's nice.
Yeah.
He gives so many people so many opportunities.
He does.
He's a very loving and giving guy.
Yeah. I hope he gets that special. I've told him this for a long time. He's been a really terrific writer for a number of years, and people don't really, I think for a long time people had a hard time seeing past, the thing, and I'm like, the writing's there though. Mm-hmm. Just listen to the writing,
and the performing is there too.
Yeah,
the nuance in his act outs in his face, they're insane.
Yeah, I always tell him it's a lot easier when you only got to write a half hour, because you just fill the time with.
Yeah,
but no, I hope he gets it, because the writing it's like up there, as far as comics go, and I think like the craft aspect of it is something that I know he pays a ton of attention to. Mm-hmm. And so when he succeeds, or when guys like that succeed, or women succeed like that, then I'm always happy for him.
I, like you say, guys, as a gender neutral expression of all human beings.
Yeah, I know. You gotta fucking clarify everything.
Yeah.
Or people jump all over you. That's also why I've been hesitant to like talk about anything in public, because that seems like that's dying, which I'm like super appreciative of.
What the like the gender?
No, just being canceled, and or being called out for something, or saying the wrong thing, and people like nailing you to the wall. And
people are
like,
always going to do that.
I'm like, dude, what?
You got to rock with the people that rock with you, and you got to fuck off the people that don't fuck with you, because there's too much time, and people are glued to their phones.
Right, it's crazy.
So if they find something that hurts their feelings, they're going to tell everybody about it. They're like, look, he said something I don't like.
Yeah.
No one cares. Okay, just do you.
It's true.
Like, look at some of the people that got canceled in the last 2 years. They're still doing fine.
Crushing.
Their fans don't cancel them.
No. No, who's gotten canceled recently?
I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
Right after I tell you all those Top Gun 2 stories.
Oh, I can't wait to hear those.
Yeah, they're good.
Nice.
So, Don.
Thanks.
With an N?
With an N.
I think Dom, which is what I called you for a number of weeks, was in reference to like the Italian thing and like being like the, I guess
stereotypically you thought of Dom Toretto.
Yeah, well, I thought of
you racist.
Now, this isn't going to make any sense now that I'm saying it out loud, but the Don of a family makes more sense than Dom, like Dominic. But I was thinking the Don of a family, but saying Dom.
Yeah. No,
stupid.
It's just Don. It's my name, full name too, Don.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
D-A-W-N.
D-A-W-N.
Dawn.
Like the sunrise, baby.
Like Red Dawn.
Yeah.
All right. Let's plug everything one more time, and then we'll do it again for the intro.
Sure. What do we plug?
Oh, yeah. You don't really have social media, right?
I guess you can find me on Instagram, Don Dipetta, and that's all I have.
All right.
See how quick that was?
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
You know what? You're better off just going to IMDb.
Yeah. Go to IMDb. See me on TV. See me in films.
Yeah.
I'm out there.
Buy a ticket.
Yeah. Buy a ticket.
And then go to Apple Plus.
Yeah.
Or Amazon and get
a
place in the field.
A place in the field. Yeah. Please rent or buy that. Support that, please. Yeah.
Don't rent that shit. Don't be a broke ass. It's $6.99 to rent it. It's $9.99 to buy it. You got $3 extra. Mm-hmm. One of those 2 or 3 pennies will go to Don.
Yeah, eventually. They will.
Yeah, when it filters through the Apple.
When it filters through.
Don, thank you for coming.
Dude, thanks for having me. Man.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I was glad I got to talk to you and get to know you better too, man.
Yeah, man.
It's a good combo.
Yeah, well, now we're going to act like we were just meeting and do an intro.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you next time.
This show's a piece of shit.